Hello and welcome to Starcast from Planet Waves. Today's edition is for Thursday, the 25th of July, 2024. My name is Eric Francis, your friendly neighborhood astrologer here with the update that is accompanying the August monthly horoscope, as well as my new article about the United States Pluto return. First, couple of housekeeping things. I will have the Leo reading either next week or the week after next. Apologies for the delay. I'm still catching up with everything that I set aside during the recording of Trust Yourself. The same will be true for the clients to whom I owe various things like chart key readings. August is the month that I will be catching up. Thank you for your patience with all that as I manage leading the astrology department and the news department here at Planet Waves. Speaking of Trust Yourself, those readings are complete. If you are looking for some respite from the insanity of the world and all of these things that are designed to take your attention off of your own healing and your own well-being, and have a little something that is all about you and your peace of mind, Trust Yourself is the perfect place to go. These are 12 readings of approximately 1 hour each, very affordably priced, whether you get one or you get two or all 12. And they come with a diversity of other readings, including the 2020 Dharma video readings. It's a really nice package, and if you're wanting to just kind of learn and grow in a way that is not about judging or evaluating you, but really is just about understanding yourself and being at peace with yourself, that is why I have created these mid-year readings for you. Also, I will have a follow-up. There's an introduction, and then I'll be issuing a follow-up sometime in a few days, possibly later today, actually, about the theme of one's inner teacher. So we begin with some Tibetan Buddhism. We continue with that. We move through the astrology of the current moment, and then I'll be ending on pretty much my favorite spiritual theme, and sometimes I think the one and only spiritual theme. All right, let's talk about the astrology of the moment. Wait. Let's talk about the sensation of the moment, the feeling of the time we are in, this unbelievably stretched, stressed, time-squeezed, time-compressed experience of being alive right now, as if there is no time to think and there's barely time to breathe. And the concept of relaxing is so strange because you would need like 2 days to be able to calm down enough to relax. And I wonder who has 2 days off to rub together these days. But if you do, send me a postcard from there or your garden. I would love to hear and see that. Meanwhile, the state of the world is just absolutely over the top. In tonight's article, I did a kind of a news summary of the month of July. I just, basically went through the headlines. I found a headline summarizer, and of course I've been looking into most of these things, so I have my way of embellishing it, and it has just been, everything's just been increasing at this exponential speed. We have seen the United States president for the second time only in living memory decline to run for a second term. The last time was Lyndon Johnson in early 1968. And this was conveyed by tweet. He informed the world that he would not be seeking a second term. This coming right on the heels of Trump getting shot with something, and then this tech failure that is just reminding the world that we are floating on the tech bubble, but it has nothing to do with the price of stocks. It has to do with the fact that everything except for Vinny's farm stand is rigged up by internet, and that we are connected by these little teeny tenuous threads. It's really quite incredible. And this has transformed us. This is not just about moving information. As we participate in this environment, we are all being transformed. And part of the stress we are feeling is the stress of being transformed people, having been changed into something other than what we were. We are no longer analog humans. And, well, I think it's important that we all do what we can to remember that space while it's still there, to remember to go back into that space while it's still there, to remember and, stay in contact with the human facet of who we are. All of these commitments and this incredible pace that life is being lived with, and the sense of a lack of meaning, is all about the digital human rather than the normal physical analog human. Okay, as I speak, the moon is in an exact conjunction to Neptune in the last degree of Pisces. That's kind of foggy, and also, I'm like struggling for my words today. There's a certain kind of a pressure that comes with aspects involving Neptune. It's very difficult to describe, but that is likely to have burst or vanished, kind of the fog cleared a little bit before 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, when the moon enters, you're listening to this later, entered Aries, 11:52 at Eastern Time. And this begins a run of the moon through the very busy cardinal signs. And I've been talking a lot about the family Hunger Games situation, meaning this cluster of planets located in early Capricorn. They're all minor planets, 5 minor planets. The biggest, most familiar one is Ceres, and then second most familiar one is the centaur Pholus, the second centaur, and then Quaoar, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Ixion, and Cupido, and these are all gathered together within a couple of degrees, and the whole thing is got the lunar nodes teeter-tottering on it. And so if it always seems like there's something you have to do or go through or pay attention to before you can do something else, what you're coming up against is this kind of karmic obstacle placed along the lunar nodes. And as I've been saying for months, this is going to be a very intense summer, and much of the drama that we're seeing in the world is actually family drama. And for those who are somehow students of the thing called the patriarchy, note that the country's official patriarch got lost in the supermarket aisle last week, and then resigned from the race by tweet, and then gave a speech that was only coherent because he was staring at the teleprompter so intently that it looked like his eyes were going to pop out of his head. And then the other unofficial patriarch, Donald Trump, was displayed with the side of his head bloody, having missed it being, we're told, blown apart by approximately 2 millimeters or so. Whatever this patriarchy thing is not in very good shape, and we are experiencing this as this massive karmic drama. But my proposal here, and I'm not the inventor of this idea, people like Wilhelm Reich and others are, that the drama internalized from the family is being projected out into the world. So really what we're seeing is a lot of family drama, and people love family drama. They just seem to not be able to get enough of it. And I think it's time that we individually and collectively kind of lose our, I don't want to say addiction, but like passion for an expectation of constant, nonstop family drama. It certainly keeps people busy, and it burns off so much creative energy that if you were to stay involved, you would have no time at all to do very much that is creative. Anyway, the moon all day and into tomorrow meets this thing, this cluster of planets in early Capricorn. It also will go over the lunar node, the north lunar node, and finally the moon will make a conjunction to the eclipse position. This is all going to be into the weekend, Friday, Saturday, the eclipse position from April 8th, and then moon conjunct Chiron and moon conjunct Eris. Sorry if you can hear that garbage truck outside my window. I don't know what it sounds like on the other end of the line, but it sounds pretty loud in my monitors. Meanwhile, Mercury has, it's about to enter Virgo, slow and powerful. So let's talk about that for a second. So at the moment, Mercury is in the degree with the Sabian symbol, an unsealed letter. I am not obsessed by the Sabian symbols. I think they are a wonderful tool that I started using very early in my astrology studies. They are a thing that identifies a kind of an image or story for each of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. Okay, I paused. That went on for a while. So this system of degree by degree images, it's almost like there's a little story or a poem for each of the degrees. And there are certain ones to me that really stand out. And one of them is the last degree of the sign Leo. And that's where Mercury is right now. Slow and powerful. Mercury is about to go retrograde in about a week on August 5th. So today is the 25th. So that's still 10 days out. But still, when Mercury retrograde is 10 days out, it is moving slowly and has more influence. So it's been hanging out in this degree. And the degree has the symbol or the story or the poem titled An Unsealed Letter. And this concept is so evocative that I think it could be a movie or a novel. You know, imagine that you're in a mansion somewhere, you're visiting someone, or you're in a home, and you go up to the attic, and there is a desk covered by a dust cloth, and you lift the dust cloth off, and you open the drawer, and there's a letter in the dresser drawer, and the letter is in an envelope that is not sealed, and so it is possible, without damaging it, to read the contents of the letter. And the concept of the unsealed letter to me is the understanding that sooner or later, everything about us will be known. So it's a degree of transparency, perhaps voluntary, perhaps involuntary. Perhaps the letter was left there unsealed by the writer, or perhaps the recipient left it there, or something. But the contents of the letter will be known. And the contents of the letter are the contents of our lives. Now, there are secrets we will all take with us when we depart the earthly plane, but we are leaving a lot of information behind. And we live as if it is really all quite concealed and secret, when in reality, it is all just an unsealed letter. Now, Mercury will station retrograde August 5th. So we're in this thing that Jim Chauvin, originally the astrologer, since gone, an old friend of mine, Jim Chauvin, popularized the term Mercury storm. Mercury shadow and Mercury storm. So we are in the first shadow phase of Mercury retrograde, which is when Mercury is crossing the degrees of the zodiac where it will be retrograde for about 3 weeks when it does station retrograde. And then Mercury's retrograde, and then there is the second shadow phase where Mercury is going back through the degrees where it was retrograde. So it's kind of like you're walking down a street, you take a left turn, You walk down, you walk back, you're crossing the territory several times. So with Mercury retrograde, we cross the territory 3 times total. First in direct motion, then in retrograde motion, then in direct motion. It's a little zigzag. And this has interesting effects. It was I haven't done the math on exactly when I couldn't find a time for when the CrowdStrike thing happened. It probably was pushed through the cloud at various different times, but that was a Mercury shadow effect. And sometimes the seeming effect of Mercury shadows either side can be just as potent as Mercury retrograde. So pay attention, and this is a good time to avoid making major commitments, to avoid signing contracts. You want to be more careful with your funds. Generally, pay attention to things like your balances, and make your, invest where you think you need to invest. Most things that you think you need, you probably already have one, or you can borrow one, or you may be able to find a better deal. Sometimes I make purchases during Mercury retrograde. I find out I don't really use the thing very much. I've done a lot of experimenting with this. Odd things happen sometimes, like I lose the object. I still would like to know where my Marantz cassette recorder is that I purchased during Mercury retrograde as an experiment a long time ago. So that's happening, and retrograde Mercury will span from, let me get the rest of the window here, events. Mercury will go direct on the 28th. So basically from the 5th until the 28th, Mercury will be retrograde, and then it'll station direct in Leo. So Mercury retrograde is going to start in Virgo, and then it's going to go back into Leo, and then it'll go direct, and it'll go back into Virgo. So we get this time that I think of as a review phase. Course in Miracles and other serious study projects almost all have a kind of a review phase. So with the Course in Miracles, for example, you do 50 lessons the first 50 days, and then you are treated to a 3 week. The first one is a 3-week review. Then I think the pattern is 3 weeks of new lessons, 10 days of review. 3 weeks of new lessons, 10 days of review. So learning is like that. Learning requires repetition in a certain way. It seems like with music studies, you're always studying things for the second time. You remember, I learned that like in my 3rd guitar lesson. Now that's what my teacher was talking about. And then, you learn it a second time, a third time, a fourth time. So one of the good things about Mercury retrograde is resolving old business. So take the chance with Mercury retrograde to resolve old business, and that I'm saying starting now, get it out of the way, the sooner the better, and sort out and comb through things, and pay attention to where you are now, because even when you're sorting out matters in the past, you're there where you are at the moment. And so when focusing on the past and its potential poignancy or sadness, if you're staying where you are and paying attention to that, you'll also notice you're having another set of responses, or you at least can pay attention to the environment that you are in. Okay, let's open up one last chart for the moment. I'm feeling like I'm not really getting to my point here, and I'm looking right at this Moon conjunct Neptune angular. It's exactly setting right now, and it's like, whoa, it's really a very, very trippy feeling. And as I'm speaking, that is at 150 degrees to Mercury. So it's not, this is not your normal Mercury. We've got the last degree of Pisces. That too is making it interesting. The last degree of Pisces is activated by the Moon and Neptune, and the last degree of Leo is activated by Mercury. That is the unsealed letter. Let's close on the note of where Neptune and the Moon conjunct Neptune are. I'm going to go find my copy of the Sabian symbols. And remember, it's the last degree of the entire zodiac. And even though the moon is going to be, gone from here within an hour or so of when I'm recording, Neptune is hanging out here for a while. And the last degree of the zodiac, the Sabian symbol for it, is these were channeled randomly, without the channel knowing what degree she was channeling for. Her name was Elsie Wheeler, and the project was initiated by the Reverend Dr. Mark Edmund Jones, one of the founders of 20th century astrology, and someone known personally to Dane Rudhyar. So the degree for the symbol for the last degree of the zodiac is one of my very favorites. A majestic rock formation resembling a face is idealized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness, and as he grows up, he begins to look like it. This is from the book The Great Stone Face by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So there's a rock formation that has like a profile of a face, and a young boy grows up near it, and then he admires it, and he becomes like it. And this is one of several symbols that is about the importance of understanding exemplars, those who set an example. And in this case, Rudhyar says that it's about the clearly visualized ideals to mold the life of the visualizer. So you can become what you idealize, and I think it's important to actually understand your ideals and make sure that they're really valid for you. Now, while we're on the last degree of the Sabian symbols, let's go to the first degree, because that's where the moon goes, and it's where Neptune is soon to arrive next year. And so the first degree of the Sabian symbols, Aries 1, is a woman just risen from the sea. A seal is embracing her. The joke here is that the woman incarnates born out of the sea, and there's somebody waiting for her, and that somebody is a seal and gives her a big hug. And that, by the way, this reminds me of Botticelli's Venus. Venus is born from the sea because I guess Kronos cuts off the testicles of Uranus, and they land in the sea, and they become Venus. A very interesting concept of how Venus is born. A woman risen from the sea, a seal is embracing her. The emergence of new forms and of the potentiality of consciousness. This is a fun, it's almost like a pastime for those who are new to astrology. The book is called An Astrological Mandala. The author is Rudhyar. It's my favorite of Rudhyar's works. It's the most accessible and the most easygoing. And I hear they just put this back into print. It was out of print for about 10 or 15 years, copies going for $200. I had a general bounty out on them. I probably have 3 or 4 copies, a couple of first edition hardcovers. So that's how much I love this book. And so again, An Astrological Mandala. And the beauty of it is that it gives you something that is not, you don't need to use the rationality of astrology to appreciate it. You can look up the degree of your ascendant, the degree of your sun, the degree of your moon, and learn something. And remember that you always round up. If your ascendant is 6 degrees in 1 minute, that is 7 degrees of the sign. Okay, so on that note, I will leave you. Hope you like today's materials. Again, an article about the United States Pluto return and the August monthly horoscope. Thank you to all who have subscribed. We picked up many new subscribers in the past couple of weeks on our Substack platform. People are really appreciating that I am bringing a bit of sanity and light to the situation, and it's an honor and pleasure to do that here in the midst of the Kali Yuga. Signing off from Kingston, New York at 10:03 a.m. on 25th of July, 2024. I'm Eric Francis. Lots of love, and bye for now.